My New Year's resolution this year was to try and stay positive whenever the things in life aren't going as planned, and another New Year's resolution that I had was to decrease my intake of Pop-Tarts. I plan on achieving my New Year's resolution by just trying to look at the positive things around me and looking at all the great things in life, and I also plan on not buying the bulk pack from Sam's on Pop-Tarts and trying to decrease my intake to just 1 pack a day.
So I think one of the best resolutions that I ever made in the past was trying to control my anger better, to control my temper. And that takes a lot of work. It's really hard when you get angry to not lash out at someone. But what I have found is that when I'm able to do that, the situations always resolve themselves much, much better. And you kind of start to learn that getting angry very rarely makes anything any better. And that's most evident in the classroom. If you would have seen me when I first started teaching, I was like yelling and screaming all the time and getting mad and getting riled up. But over time, you kind of figure out that that doesn't really do any good, right? And kids respond a lot, or people, not just kids, but people respond a lot better to kindness and respect.
New Year's resolutions is kind of the granddaddy of setting goals. It's a great time to kind of move forward, maybe things that didn't go well for you in the past. It's a time to kind of regroup. And so for me, a strategy that I love to use and I think is a good strategy for you to use is selecting one word for the year. And for instance, for example, my word this year is stronger. Okay, I want to get stronger physically, mentally, spiritually. It was stronger with my family time, with relationships, and so those are the things that I'll be working on. Just as an example, stronger physically. I have kind of gotten into running half marathons and things of that nature, and really got away from that last March. And so just trying to get stronger. Running and getting in shape and reading positive books that will help with this situation. So that would be my advice to you, is just to pick one word that you can really embrace for 2021.
My advanced theater class is a performance-based class, and typically we do a production in the fall. With COVID, we decided it would be better to try something different, so we, as a class, wrote a screenplay. The screenplay revolves around the Shrek cast being trapped in the school in inclement weather for a weekend and the mayhem that ensues. It might include a murderer being on the loose. Who on earth could that be? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. Filming for the movie will begin in February and will hopefully conclude by March, have it edited and out for you at the same time as Shrek is premiering here at Fairgrove High School.
My major roles in the screenplay are that I have written a large majority of it, I'm going to be directing a large majority of it with a few other students, and I'm going to be acting in it as one of the lead characters throughout the entirety of the play. I do like doing all of these things a lot because it really just gives me a great feel for everything that goes into the workmanship of making a movie, from the writing desk all the way through to being an actor through the entire piece, and it's just a really fun experience for me personally, as it's one of the things I love to do.
So this is our first year having a co-ed team for indoor, and there is a lot of competition. I really enjoy our team because we've all played together this summer, and during quarantine we go to the Taco Bell fields and shoot, and the games are really fun and intense. So between games we don't really have any preparation. We don't have organized practice or anything, but sometimes on Mondays we'll go to the fields by MSU and we'll shoot or play pickup games with other people.
Fairgrove has many clubs and things to get involved in for all different types of people. There are all of the sports programs and art clubs, as well as chess club and many more. However, there is one club not many really know much about. Scholar Bowl is a club for those who really enjoy collecting and showing off their knowledge of interesting facts while competing against tournaments in other schools. Mrs. Walquist is the Scholar Bowl sponsor. She holds the team practices and helps organize meets with other schools.
Scholar Bowl is an organization that we have here at school. The members get to compete against other schools for their school. So just like a sports team does, Scholar Bowl does the same thing. We have districts, we have state, we have nationals, which we qualified for last year but didn't get to go. It's set up kind of like Jeopardy, except you don't have to answer with a question. And one of the things that we want to do, you have 4 people playing at a time, and then you can have people that you can sub in.
Scholar Bowl to me is a place to really compete and something that I already enjoy doing. I've always loved general knowledge and just trivia, and this gives me a chance to actually compete and compare myself against other people who also do trivia.
We meet every week. We have a practice on Fridays. In the past, I've broken it down to JV practice and varsity practice, but right now it's just with one right now, and we practice on Fridays after school in my room.
My favorite thing about Scholar Bowl is getting to compete with other people alongside the bonds I make with my fellow teammates. Scholar Bowl is a lot to me, actually. It's a way to make friends. It's a way to be competitive during the off season for football.
I chose basketball because ever since I was young, I've always had a passion for watching NBA games, watching college games, so I just grew into it basically. My favorite memory of basketball is either dancing pregame in the locker rooms or getting my first triple-double.
My parents have been really involved in basketball, and I started playing in kindergarten, so it's just been a part of my life since then. My favorite memory is Coach Fabian falling on top of Lindy during a charge drill in practice.
I got into cheerleading really because all my other friends were into cheerleading, but it was also like another activity for me to do, and it was just like hyping ourselves up and like goofing around pretty much.
CDC's guidelines for social distancing and quarantining are anything new to students at Fairgrove. Missouri's legislation has recently changed the previous mandated orders in place by offering modified quarantine for students who have been exposed to COVID-19 and that have worn their mask correctly and at all required times. Brandon Candlebiter is a freshman at Fairgrove who's been quarantined over 3 times.
Yeah, my first quarantine, it was before all the modified quarantine, so it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was just the Google Meets and stuff. But the good thing now, if we do get quarantined, we will stay in school and stay in touch with the teachers, get all of our work done. It's a lot easier for the kids.
My full opinion on quarantine. You know, the thing about quarantines is for me is I don't look at them as they're good or bad because I'm not an expert. All I can do is trust what our experts tell us, and they tell us that this is what we need to do to flatten the curve as far as wearing a mask. It's very much, for instance, like physics. I don't know anything about physics, but I trust that Mr. Foster does, and so I'm going to believe that that's what's in the best interest is, you know, what he is teaching our kids. And so I know quarantines are bad when they happen to you personally, and I know that's very frustrating, but you know, our health experts tell us that this is what we need to do to make our nation safer. And so you know, that's why we are a firm believer in doing those here at school.
I do believe that the masks that the CDC and the health department and the state have asked us to implement have been effective. Because of that, we've been able to do the modified quarantine, which allows students to actually be able to stay in school whenever they've been around somebody who has tested positive. So the data has just shown that at this age group, and then with masking together, students just aren't transmitting it as much, and the masks are stopping that spread. So I think it's very effective. I think it's a great idea to have the mask mandate. not only in our school but in our community. And I think it's shown also to be really effective in allowing everybody to be at school.
You know, as far as whether or not this is effective, I think we have to believe that they are. I just go back to the fact that this is not a topic that I know a lot about, and so you have to lean on people that are experts, and that's people with the CDC. That is your health professionals, and they are telling us that this is what we need to do. That this works, and so. From where I stand, my expertise is in education and not in science, and so I'm a firm believer in listening to those voices, and they tell us that these are steps that are helping us not only stay safe but stay in school.